To elaborate on Form A, Singham, the Form A is what we normally refer to as a pink form. On the reverse, is pre-signed by the returning officer, and it has the authority of a statutory declaration.
Oh, that's interesting. This is something the wakil calon need to be aware of, so that you do not have to run around looking for a commissioner of oaths.
But the challenge is, the returning officer oftentimes do not supply the wakil calon with enough forms. So there's a desperate scramble like what happened in Sarawak during the last 2011 elections. They didn't supply enough forms to the wakil calon.
Can they use photocopies of the pink forms?
Well, that was what we did. We took a pink paper, photostat it, and got the returning officer to sign on the forms.
Okay, so long as it is pink in color, it looks like an original print, and it is signed by the returning officer, that is good enough.
Yes. Now let's come on to the next point. What does the wakil calon do with respect to polling agents?
Well, first of all, he has got to appoint them, and he's got to make sure they are trained. This time around though, there's a big difference because of the training programs that Tindak Malaysia initiated, which many of the parties adopted, some of them with their own format, but nevertheless the training of polling and counting agents began a lot earlier than has been in previous election campaigns. Previously, agents were trained at the last minute, and many of them did not know the rules and were very vague about some of the things that they need to manage. This time around, I'm glad to say they're very much better prepared.
And what about payment?
They can be paid or not depending on whether what is the arrangement with the party, but the candidate is not allowed to handle any of these payments. So all payments that are to be made, whether it is to the agents that are appointed by the wakil calon or any other use of facilities, all payments have to be handled by the wakil calon.
Well, there is a problem that I can see here. Sometimes the candidate will appoint his wife to be the wakil calon, and when you ask your wife to issue money on your behalf, there's a very serious emotional issue involved.
Yes, so these are the things that the candidates have to look after. If they think that there are going to be these emotional issues, they should look for somebody other than a member of the family to do the job of wakil calon. In fact, the best person would be somebody who is a professional, perhaps somebody who's a legal professional who understands the law, an accountant who understands the management of accounts. Any of these people who've got a professional background would be ideal wakil calon.
And this is a very dangerous activity because calon can be disqualified if he spend beyond the statutory limit.
Yes.
What is that, Singham?
The statutory limit for this is total expenses.
Yes.
If you're an MP, you're allowed to spend up to 200,000 ringgit. If you are Adun, you're allowed to spend up to 100,000 ringgit. But the thing is, whether this is spending by the candidate or spending by the party, there's a blurred line. Very often, expenses are done by the party on behalf of the candidate, and the candidate is allowed to go free because it is not candidate.
Is this healthy?
It's not healthy. This is something that needs to be addressed in the future.
And does he need to declare his expenses? What form does he use? Form B?
There's a Form B that he uses to declare his expenses, and this was actually supposed to be submitted within 14 days after publication of the election result. If he fails to do so, then action can be taken against him. Whether these are audited or just simply collected and kept is unknown.